Blast me to Electia! It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 43, Lore, Paint Guides, Rules and Mission. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Imperium Journey. So, we've just had Delivery 12 and here we have our first issue, issue 43. So, in this issue, we get ourselves a brand new paint, being Stormhost Silver, which is a nice layer paint, perfect for applying highlights to all the metallic areas of our models, which we'll see in the issue's paint guide. We also get a small layer brush, perfect for applying those said highlights, and this one is actually in a pretty good condition. And I'll be using it for future videos in my Get Started series. So, what's in this issue? Well, we learn about the Thousand Suns, we get some rules for our Adept Sororitas units, and we go to war in a new mission where a Canonist leads a Imperial force against the Necron Technomancers. So let's go vertical and see what's inside. So here we have our magazine. And we get a nice lot of stuff in this issue. So we get 2 new background pages, names and titles for the Adept Sororitas, and corruption engrams for our Necrons. We have a new faction sheet with the Thousand Suns, and a new war zone, the Scourge Stars. So our paint guide is all about edge highlighting. We have the Sacred Rites rules for the Sisters of Battle, and we have Cover the Retreat rule. So first off, we have the Adept Sororitas name and titles, and much like all our previous ones, these are D66 table, which you roll for a first and second name for your sisters. And on the other side, we have heroic titles, as well as names for Sororitas units. So for the Necrons, we've got corrupted engrams. So this is a fun little fluff building table generator. So you roll once and it gives you both a code of corrupted code and the effect that the code has on the model. So for my Necron Overlord down here, I got Displays of Power. So on 5, Displays of Power, arrogant and prideful, this noble seeks to unleash the full might of his royal armory. So his effect would be empty the vaults, always fields as many war machines and vehicles as possible in order to display the court's power. I think that could be definitely my Overlord's way of doing things. And on the other side, we got one for the Cryptex. So, despite my Chronomancer's name, one of his epithets being loyal to the Stormlord, his effect is he's a betrayer, apparently. So plots against his superiors, seeking an opportunity to seize power, probably against the Overlord. But I think the Technomancer rolled pretty well. He has supreme intellect and has the Battle of Wits. So yeah, that's definitely very fitting for him. So the first bit of lore we have in this issue is a faction page for the Thousand Suns. Of all the traitor legions, the Thousand Suns are true masters of warp sorcery. Imbued with dread powers by their worship of the dark god Tzeentch, and guided by the devious demon Primarch Magnus the Red, they threaten to tear apart the fabric of reality. So this is another inquisitorial report, and details a little bit about the Thousand Suns, what led up to their damnation, the curse of the rubric of Ahriman. And then on the back we got a little bit about their Demon Primarch, the Rubric Marines, who are basically just suits with the dusted spirit of a Space Marine inside, controlling it. They are amplified by the Sorcerers, who are the only living Space Marines within the Legions. Most of those, though, have been corrupted. And then we've got the planet of Sorcerers, which, after their own home world was destroyed, Magnus spirited away their capital city, Tisca, planted it onto a new planet, and dragged it into the warp. And our second bit of lore is about the Scourge Stars, which was originally a campaign by the Great Unclean One, Slurg Glottophrax, in which he attempted to take over a certain sector of the Imperium, but it also attracted the followers of Khorne and Tzeentch. So the collapsing worlds of the Imperium were easy prey for the followers of Nurgle. The worlds, now known as the Scourge Stars, were the first to fall into their embrace. So this is obviously during the Plague Wars, and most of the planets fell to Nurgle. Some, the Shrine World of Vermidil, where the Sisters of Battle reside, the Forge World of Rotgrave. Although in demonic infestations, they are managing to hold against the forces of chaos. There is one place, the Foetid Hive, which is a naval base, which has become Excommunicatus Traitoris, as well as the Renegade Night World. But let me have a little bit about the great game that the Chaos Gods play against each other. They basically play Warhammer with Warhammer. Moving on to our paint guide. So this gives us tips on how to get the best out of your paint, how best to get the smoothest results. So bracing your wrists or elbows on the table and holding your model. What I like to do is put my elbows on the table, put my wrists together. That really helps. Teaches you about using the side of the brush for majority of edges, tip of the brush for edges that you can't quite get the side to. Making sure you don't have too much paint and you have a good tip to your brush. And then we go into using our Stormhost Silver. So we're just picking out all the edge highlights on the armors, so all the panels, areas around the chest, any areas of battle damage. Again, more armor panels, the faceplates, etc. On the weapons and ribbed cables, we're picking out flayed one's claws. On the staffs and tendrils, the technomancers. On the ruins, we're just going to dry brush a little bit of Stormhost Silver on the plasma site's base. And there we have all our models painted up so far. I'm really kind of annoyed that they haven't painted the Overlord's cloak in gold. It would have looked a lot better, I'd have thought. They've done it for the Technomancer, who's a lower rank. Plus it's platinum, not silver. And then we have a good look at all our completed models, and they are really starting to really stand out. Moving on to our Ultramarines paint guides. So first off, we are doing something that I'm surprised they didn't teach us how to do a lot earlier, which is to recess shade all our armor. So recess shading all the blue armor panels with Nuln Oil. And if you spill any Nuln Oil on surfaces, you can always touch up with some Crag glue from the pot. And then we're going to go into our Stormhost Silver. So we're looking at picking out all the gold trims, the Aquillas, weapon hilts, iron halos, icons, keys, etc. The swords, the vents on the power packs, pistol grips, bionic arms, and all the other various bits and pieces around our models. And there's our completed gallery for our Space Marines, and they are starting to look a little bit better. But of course, I've already gone a little bit further with my Ultramarines. As I mentioned in a comment on Facebook, if there is a third Warhammer 40,000 part works, possibly for when 10th edition comes around and they change up everything, I might probably slow build and follow along with the magazine itself. Quite interesting to see what they do for 10th though. But we still have at least another year worth of this to go through. But I can't wait because there's some good issues coming up. So first off, let's have a look at our one and only new piece of rules, which is the Sacred Rites for the Adept Sororitas. So the majority of units in Adept Sororitas army have the Sacred Rites ability listed on their datasheets. This page contains the rules for all the Sacred Rites abilities available to your Adept Sororitas army. Read through the page in the following tutorial before you play your next mission. So what these are permanent buffs that will last throughout the game. There's two ways you can go about getting them. You can choose a single buff, or you can roll 2d6 and get 2 buffs. Although the buffs might not always correspond well with the army you've chosen. That's the only problem about rolling them randomly. I did do a test roll and I got 2 pretty good buffs. I got Spirit of Martyr, which when a model dies, you roll a d6 on a 6. The attacking unit, after it's finished all attacks, will suffer a mortal wound for a total of 6 wounds, maximum of 6 wounds. And I rolled the Passion, which hits of 6 score an additional hit. So exploding bodies and exploding 6s. So it does show one of the more detailed rules. So it does give you an example of Spirit of the Martyr, and it does give you a little bit of information and guidance on whether you want to choose or roll. I think for the Order of a Martyred Lady, you really are only ever going to be going for Spirit of the Martyr, really. It fits more into their character. Personally, I think, I haven't looked at them all, but there's some good abilities. There's Deny the Witch buffer. We have improved armor penetration. We have improved advanced and charge rolls. And we have an improved leadership. So, as I said, for the Order of a Martyr Lady, I think rolling for 2 all the time is probably going to be your best. But sometimes having a good choice of 2 might be a little bit better for you. For my own personal order, I'm going to have to read more into these before I make a decision. So, speaking of mission and decisions, we have Martyr's Rest as our new battle. So this pits the Technomancers of the Necrons against the Canoness and the Librarian of the Space Marines and the Adept Sororitas. I'll set up and I'll be right back. Okay, we are all deployed and ready for the mission. So the Necrons are the defenders, where the Imperium are the attackers. I've got the Scarabs and the Technomancer this side, ready to scurry forward. The Necron Warriors and the Chronomancer over there. Down this side I've got the Skitarii ready to advance, and the Space Marines to go this particular direction. The mission is a capture control, plus we also have the progressive mission of Slay the Warlord, so we score 1 point for each objective we control, and 2 points if we slay the enemy Warlord. In this case, the Warlord will be the Canoness and the Chronomancer, as they appear first on the lists. So they get 2 points for that, and we have 5 rounds in order to gain as many points as we can. The objective markers are next to each of the conduits. And we have a 5-inch on up to the halfway point of the map deployment zone. Martyr's Rest. The unshakable faith of Electia's citizenry has shielded them from the effects of the stilling. Across the ravished high city, bands of surviving Adeptus Ministorum clergy, indentured workers, and the remnants of the Moon's garrison still hold out against the Necron invaders. Imperial forces, led by the Adeptus Sororitas, must rally these survivors to their cause. The Necrons, meanwhile, seek to isolate and eliminate the fractured human resistance and tighten their grip on the city. Necrons, Chronomancer, extract the test subjects. Eager to capture new test subjects for its fellow cryptex, the Chronomancer has been tasked with rounding up the defenseless humans cowering beneath the spires of the Ministorum district. He has ordered his troops to capture the Holy Martyr's Rest, long enough for the prisoners to be spirited away. Imperium, Canoness, cover the retreat. Martyr's Rest is crowded with desperate survivors, outnumbered and outgunned by the Necron opponents. The Canoness and the forces must secure the battlefield, hold several key defensive positions, and buy time for these survivors to withdraw to relative safety of Basilica of St. Marcius. So, all deployed, all read up. Here we go with turn 1. Quite a productive turn 1. So the Adept Mechanicus and the Canoness advance forwards. The Canoness running, getting a 6, so she literally shot forward onto the objective. The Skitarii just moved up their normal move, getting in gun range of the Necrons, killing quite a few, but combination get backups and the Technomancer, I managed to get back 4 models. Skitarii passed their morale, so did the Necron Warriors at the end of the turn. Necron Warriors did, of course, return fire at the Skitarii, causing 3 wounds. The Technomancer here shot with his Snaffle and did 1 wound on our Space Marines. I was out of smite range, so I couldn't really do any psychic powers this turn, but hopefully next turn, as the Space Marines are going to go advancing towards Objective 3. So here we go with turn 2. Okay, turn 2, and it's gone splendidly for the Imperium, although they have lost the majority of the Skitarii force. At this point, they are still alive, so they need a morale check. 2 plus 5 is 7, which I believe is actually... yeah, they are fine with the +1 from the data tether. Wow. I was lucky. Canoness did dispatch 1 Necron. She didn't get too well hitting in combat. The Scarabs finally died in the combat with the Assault Intercessors. And I killed the Technomancer with the Librarian, who smited him for 2 wounds and then chopped him up with his 4-sword for another 3. End of my turn, Space Marine's turn, should I say, not my turn. They scored 3 points for controlling each of the objectives. All we've got to do is eliminate the Warlord, and I think it might be over by turn 3. So let's find out what happens on turn 3. I said it'd be all over by 3, and it was. The Space Marines just smited and shot the Chronomancer, so that's netted them 2 points to slay the Warlord, and 1 point for holding the center objective. Fight phase, I did lose another Skitarii, but we managed to wipe out 3 Necrons. The remaining 3 got soon wiped out in the Necron's own turn, so that didn't go too well for them. So it's the Imperium with a victory. So with all that wrapped up, I think it's time to see what's in our next Imperiums. So issue 44, we get issue 34's Terrain, which is the smaller of the 2 large ruins and the larger of the 2 small ruins. Then we learn about the White Scars. We have a tutorial about how to place terrain, and we are playing a rather nice big game where we have the freedom to place our own terrain for the first time. So that is going to be interesting, especially with 3 sets of ruins to put down, plus your containers, your pipes, and your reactor. In issue 45, we get our first of 3 Canoptek Wraiths. We learn about the 2 of the different orders of the Sisters of Battle. We have a fold-out for the various alien races in the galaxy. And we have a new mission with our Canoptek Wraith. So there we have it. That was issue 43 of Imperium. So I would like to thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. It means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you very much. That sounds a bit... I'll try that again. It means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you. That sounds better. And There's all my links in the description down below, as usual, affiliate links for Curton Games, my social medias, and my Buy Me a Coffee, of course, if you would like to support the channel in any way. Alright, I will see you next time then for more mad content. Goodbye.